What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are back with another All-22 video to break down this Lions-Titans game, show some of the key plays from this game, and the plays that stuck out to me when watching this game back. This was a Lions 52-14 win, which was insane, so we got to dive into it. As always, this video is being brought to you by BetUS, so use that promo code down in the description, YouTube150, because you can get a 150% deposit match on your first deposit with that promo code, up to $2,000 and 125% deposit match on your next two deposits. Tonight, we got football. Giants, we have Steelers. It is currently a 6-point spread, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. This has been a solid week for me. I think I'm like 11-4 right now, so this has been a solid week just straight up on picks, but I like the New York Giants in this one. I'm worried about this game because every time I underestimate the Steelers, they prove me wrong, and at some point, I kind of feel like I'm just hating on the Steelers, but I'm not trying to hate. I just think the Giants are interesting. I think I like the Giants more than others, limited in ways to win, but this feels like the kind of game that you said the Giants could go pull an upset. This is the kind of team. The over-under set at 36.5. So I'm going to roll with the Giants. I'm going to roll the money line that's at 225, and we're going to place that bet. If we were to bet, let's just say $5, we could win over $11. Hey, maybe that's a nice little meal at Applebee's. You know what I'm saying? This is not brought to you by Applebee's. BetUS, that is YouTube 150. Get involved in the action. Now let's get to the video. Obviously, this was a very strange blowout win, 52-14, but in the most weird way ever. Less than 100 yards passing for Jared Goff is insane. To have that be the final score of this game, this was truly three phases, and I thought for the Lions in this game, watching it back offensively, they definitely came in, I thought, with a much more simplified kind of offensive approach to this game. I think the biggest thing that shocked me is how well the Lions ran the ball against this defensive front for Tennessee. Their linebacker position isn't fantastic, and I thought we saw that a little bit, but their defensive line is strong between T'Vondre Sweat and Simmons, and the Lions handled that for the most part in this game. They ran the ball way better than I expected. And then in terms of passing the football, we just really didn't get to see a lot out of it. 12 for 15 for Goff, but it was a lot more simplified. It was heavy play action, which was kind of what I was expecting. This is a really good defense on paper, run defense and in pass coverage, even without L'Jarius Sneed. They don't create a lot of pressure, which they definitely created some pressure into this game. But the Lions came out, seemingly kind of simplified things offensively until they got in the red zone, which they were perfect, and the Lions have been rolling in the red zone. That has been huge. And then defensively speaking, the Titans made some excellent plays. Give them some credit. They made some excellent one-on-one plays. Calvin really cooked, and then the second half, he kind of cooled off. We didn't really hear about him again in this game. Happened that they kind of ran out of that gas as this game continued on. They got pulled away from the run game because of the score, because of the way that special teams took over. And usually we don't even have special teams clips, but I do today because it was what took over this game. Khalil Freeman and everybody else involved kind of took them away from Tony Pollard and the run game, which did find some success for Tennessee. And instead, it forced them into pass mode only. And those big chunk plays that they were hitting, that were contested, that were difficult, or the big early chunk play we saw play action weren't really there anymore. It kind of dried up for them, ended up being 14-52. So I got their score right. Obviously, the Lions' red zone stand was massive. I still don't understand why Tennessee threw the ball every play. You're at the 1 yard line, you had a timeout, and they decided to throw the ball 4 straight times, and they were all incomplete passes. Still don't really understand that idea. Doesn't make any sense to me because they were running the ball well enough. It's like, hey, at least give it a shot one time. They did not for whatever reason, but that stand, along with special teams and the efficiency in the red zone for the Lions and the greatness in terms of defensively on third down, led to this win. Show some of the plays that stuck out to me when watching this thing back, offensively and defensively. We'll show some good and we'll show some bad. The Titans got out of this game and they were rolling a little bit early here offensively. However, I want to point out this safety position because we said for weeks now this is arguably the best safety position, the safety duo in the NFL. And you can see the Lions here, there clearly was an intention on like, hey, stop the run first. That's first and foremost. We have to stop the run. You could see by just how they were playing, how they were lining up. Obviously, Tennessee uses a lot more tight ends than most teams. They'll put tight ends at fullback. They did a lot of 13 personnel. They'll go jumbo package, 2 tight ends. They have a lot of tight ends, so it's a little bit different. But the Lions would match that personnel, and we saw it by just how they were putting guys, stacking the line of scrimmage, 6 guys on the line, 6-1 front, 6-2 at times, depending on the personnel. And it looks like this. You'd get kind of this shell look where you get like quarters in the back end, so they could help in terms of run support. They would really focus that front 7 on we have to stop the run. And then the back end, let's limit the shot play, let's communicate well, let's play fast. And I thought when the Lions were their best in this game, it really was that. We saw Buffalo did it a little bit. It's like, hey, when we're able to kind of simplify things and just play fast, whether that's man or zone, that's when we were our toughest into this game. We didn't have to make it overly complicated because their offense is not overly complicated. They're a pretty simplified offense from what I had seen. They run the ball, they're very heavy play action, they want to stay on script. And for Lions defensively, it's like, let's play fast. Now we want to blitz. And we did that, but let's play fast. And here, to me, is a great example of the safety play here. So Lions going into this quarters look defensively here, and watch the communication between Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. It starts with Brian Branch first. Reads the receiver on the opposite hash, takes away this crossing route. You see him step down right there, and then on cue, you have Kirby Joseph who drops out and takes away the vertical route. He immediately opening his hips, seeing the vertical route out his peripheral vision on this play action fake. He gives depth, he drops out, takes away the vertical route, and you allow Brian Branch to step down and take away the crossing route. So you essentially bracket in both the vertical route and the over route on this play. The Lions covered up perfectly, and that's what led to the interception, because you can see Rudolph really has nowhere to throw the football here. You ultimately get some pressure with Levi, and then Trevor Nowaski, who I really liked on this play because, you're in this quarters look, and him playing this kind of sandbacker role for the Lions in this spot. He could play the flat, right? He has a lot of zone that he could be responsible for underneath, but you notice there's no threat to his side, right? You bring the tight end over on the play fake, they're going to sell out the run, and then you have another tight end inline who's blocking here. Maybe he's going to chip and then delay, but there's no other immediate threat, so he stays aggressive, kind of stays down into the flat here, keeps these guys within eye distance where he can see both tight ends, and then late on the play when Rudolph decides to check it down because of pressure, he's standing right in a spot, and then he goes and makes the play on the football. So playing fast, simplified coverage and playing fast, that's when the Lions seemed like they were at their best. Now again, the Titans just made some plays out of that. It happens because it's a split zone block, and it kind of forces Carlton Davis more out to the D gap here with this split zone block instead of being able to get inside to the C gap, and then it's just a spill for Alex, right? If Carlton gets down inside of the tight end who's coming on the split zone block, and he comes right off the hip of Josh Wiley here at tight end, now you have the A gap, you have the B gap here that they're trying to slant into, then you have Carlton off the edge, so now all of a sudden it's going to get spilled outside. That's the idea on paper, is that Alex can then spill back to the outside. However, with the inline tight end, the split zone block from the tight end in this spot, now all of a sudden he gets pressed back outside, and now there's this gaping hole where you have Alex spilling outside towards that outside gap, Carlton gets pressed out there, and now you have this gaping hole that Alex is just kind of late to respond to on the play, so that's one of their big chunk runs. And that's what we saw in this game. They just had a couple little things like that where they led to kind of chunk plays. Now, I do want to show some good, because while this wasn't our most dominant defensive performance against the run, some of that was also towards the end. They kind of just ran the ball well when we started mixing in and going to some of our backups. But I do want to give a shout out to a guy like Aleem McNeil here. J.C. Latham at left tackle, the rookie, and you can just see Aleem McNeil, man. He looks so explosive. It almost feels like since he got that contract, this guy just looks so dynamic in everything that he does. You see the quickness off the ball, and you see him right here with the pop, and then he gets right into this rip. He reads through the run. There's the rip, sheds the block. Now he's sitting in the backfield. And then the athleticism to break down behind the line of scrimmage with Tony Pollard and not only create penetration and get into the backfield, but also to finish on this play like he does. He slips J.C. Latham immediately. Now he's stepping downhill. He's in the backfield. And look at the finish in space. That was super impressive for Aleem. Everybody that gets involved in the run block. We had a lot of success rolling behind that left side of the line of scrimmage, picking up from that Dallas game where he did it really well as well in Minnesota. But how about this? Amon-Ra St. Brown. We saw this last week where the Lions were using kind of those close looks with the receivers to kind of press the outside linebackers outside a little bit. Well, in this case, you could see the 3 down linemen, the 2 outside linebackers, and the 1 off-ball backer here. We're going 11 personnel. So they're running kind of this 5-1 look almost as a front. And because of that, St. Brown now outside of the outside linebacker is going to step down, pin down this block, allow Laporta to reset over, and then he's going to go out and hit his cornerback because the cornerback's going to be sitting just outside of him. They have to play outside leverage because you're kind of split close like this. So if you watch on the play, St. Brown blocks 2 guys, and you'll see him late in the play kind of pop up, just driving the cornerback out. It's everybody doing their job. Obviously, Penei Sewell on the play side here, he's always awesome, and Frank Ragnow, I thought, had another great game, especially as a run blocker. Now, off the backside, we could see that with the inside leverage here, off the backside, we were unable to kind of reach block and keep Simmons from getting penetration into the backfield, and occasionally that did happen, especially from the A-gap. Those guys would get to the backfield, cause a little bit of havoc in some of our goal line runs. But you see how St. Brown down blocks Kenneth Murray, right, who clearly was struggling to take on blocks seemingly all game long. Then you have Sam Laporta, who now has good leverage. He can go seal this block. Obviously, Penei Sewell just moving Sebastian Joseph Day. And then as this run goes on, you kind of stretch it outside, right? You're kind of working away from those interior defense linemen, which I thought would be the plan coming in. It was like, hey, why run at a brick wall? Why not just do some stretch runs? Why not just try to get outside on this team? And that's what they did. Now, the cornerbacks tackle well, but as we go to this point, St. Brown on Jarvis Brownlee. You see him blocking now Jarvis Brownlee, just absolutely sticking with the guy. No disengagement there, and all of a sudden here goes Gibbs for an easy first down run. Looks like the Lions are trying to kind of disguise here. They go into like a cover 2 blitz, so they lose an underneath defender. They're going to roll out Kirby. See being on the boundary side here from Brian Branch, he's a little bit laid over top because, again, he's helping more towards the middle field here, kind of a little disguise. So there at the snap, there's the bootleg. Now you have both these corners passing their vertical routes off to the safeties. So the safeties are both going to split the field in half here. They're going to open up. Lions selling against the run. As we were saying in those shell looks, they were playing very aggressively against against the run. Alex ends up picking up kind of this crossing route here from the tight end position, but when the boot happens and you get the second crossing route right behind the linebacker position, and you have your safeties that are forced to split, and they're not in a quarters look where they can step down and drive on these passes, but instead they're forced to split here. You just have the right call for what we're doing defensively. We're aggressively pursuing the run. Trevor downhill, Jack Campbell downhill. They go behind Jack Campbell. Alex picks up the first crossing route, but then all of a sudden you have this guy who's just wide open on the play, and the safeties can't really help because they have to take the vertical route because of the coverage that they're playing. So you just have this wide open tight end, and that's the risk when you're playing that aggressively against the run, when you're flowing to the football like they were, and that's the focus. You kind of get the sweep look. You got two pulling offensive linemen. They're selling out for this. Look at Jack Campbell. He's selling out for this, and then that second level pass is open. Now on the backside, you get Muhammad, who's closing down to the line of scrimmage and getting back upfield here, who nearly got there. And we're going to give some looks to Muhammad in this game because I know all of the talk is about who are the Lions going to bring in, what trade they're going to make. Josh Uche just got moved to the Chiefs, which hurt a little bit, but it happens. Regardless, though, we're going to see Muhammad a little bit more because this guy had 6 pressures in this game. Obviously, that would be one of them. But I'm watching this like, hey, they're playing with a third-string right tackle, and J.C. Latham is a rookie. But Muhammad played his butt off as a pass rusher. Like, I got to give it to him. 6 pressures in your first game, really, regardless if we were playing, that's a strong outing. He had a very strong outing as a pass rusher. And I don't hate the Lions looking at that be like, that was pretty good. That was, we could be a little patient. That was solid. We still need to make a move, I believe. But that was a really solid performance. And I think with all the trade talk and everything's about the guys that we don't have, give credit to the guys that we do have that did step up into this game because Muhammad showed out in his first game. Now, that being said, how about Jahmyr Gibbs? Because this guy has just been on a heater. And this was the 70-yard touchdown run, which was massive, kind of a little back and forth early. And it's a 70-yard touchdown run. You're going to see they're going to go weak side. They're going to go at the one technique here. But again, just watch the blocking across the board. You're going to get this hinge from Decker, who's going to seal the edge cleanly here. Then the combination between Frank and Graham has been beautiful. We showed it against the Vikings. We're going to see it again here. The combination blocks that they have and then getting up to the second level. And then I love this little wrinkle, which the Lions have been using, is a guy like Sam Laporte off this backside to step inside and pick up this linebacker and Gibbons and kind of seal that block into the second level so that we can pop this and he's not making a play off the backside. Rather than, say, asking Zeitler to flow up to the second level where it's definitely not his biggest skill set. We saw that in this game. They get up the A-gap on him and cross his face and he get a tackle for loss. Rather than saying, hey, we want you to get up to the second level where he's not the most athletic, laterally moving offensive lineman, they're like, let's use Laporta, and instead, Zeitler, you're just going to seal down this block and we'll let Laporta step inside and pick it up. And it worked to perfection. And then you're going to see the angles that the safety has here in Quandre Diggs and how Jahmyr Gibbs just completely disregards that. He's like, you thought you had an angle for a second, but you really didn't. All right, watch how this plays out. So first off with the blocking here, Decker, great hinge right here. You can see Brownlee's just super aggressive, so it kind of played into our hands here. You get this combo block where you get Glasgow with just enough push there to reset it for Frank. Frank's rolling his hips cleanly. Like, look at him reset here on the nose tackle. It's beautiful. And then Glasgow steps up to the second level again. Kenneth Murray, bam. He was really good in terms of getting to great landmarks in this game. Glasgow is as a lineman up to the second level. That being said, these linebackers, they're not taking on blocks very well, right? They're not getting off these blocks very well. You can see it right here. This is not great. That being said, though, when you see the safety stepping down, you're thinking maybe there's a shot, right? Look at Laporte off the backside. There's a seal. Laporte, bam, hits Gibbons. Now all of a sudden you got this lane, but you could see the safety peeking, right? You could see, okay, he's going to go inside, he's going to go outside. And you see Gibbs kind of tipping through it right here. So you're like, all right, inside or outside. Safety may have to respect this because you have the block here. He can go in or outside. He plays it upfield. Doesn't really press inside that much here, but he slowly kind of works his way through it with some patience. And then as soon as it opens up right here, and the safety was just respecting kind of the inside cut instead of getting outside, because honestly, if he jumps outside, that's an issue too, because bam, he might take off that way. But it's probably better to force it back inside for the safety. Regardless, though, with him kind of slow playing this, and then as soon as he hits the gas, any angle that the safety thought he had here was gone immediately. That's just different level type of speed. Watch this. Boom, hits the gas, angle's gone. I mean, it was like that. It was a half a second, and the safety had no shot. Half a second, safety looked like he was in a solid spot right here. It's like, all right, he's got a shot. Okay, we cut him off. No, as soon as he hit the gas, gone. Just no shot. I mean, just turned a corner on him, and now he's gone by 5 yards already. The guy's already jogging. He's like, it's over. It's over. I got no shot. He's already done with the play. He's walking out of bounds. This play is over. That's different level speed from Jahmyr Gibbs. Back to the defensive side of the ball, this is one of my favorite plays from Jack Campbell. Watch him take on the lead puller here, stack it, shed it right here. Watch him take on the offensive lineman. He just eats this block. Bam. And then he settles down, makes the tackle. Obviously, we keep pointing out the body control from Jack Campbell, but here with the right guard, Dylan Radin's here, the right guard, I think he's a second-round pick, steps down, just eats this lead block, bam, right there, and then he steps out and makes the tackle. And then also you get DJ Reader off the backside, who had some flash plays early in this game, especially against run. Wasn't all perfect, but he made some flash plays. I could have put some plays in here for him, but he works over top of Cushenberry here as they kind of try to down block Ali McNeil, but he battles back into the play, and he works it together with Jack Campbell there to make the stop. Now, staying on the defense side of the ball, we definitely saw Calvin Ridley get busy. And I think the big thing there is you have a rookie corner, and you could tell there was a veteran receiver that is a big-time route runner, and it was like, all right, there's just a little bit of a gap. We just need a little bit more seasoning for Terrion Arnold, okay? There's levels to this, and we saw Calvin just cook. It's like Terrion didn't bounce back, but obviously, he had the great grab given up on him. Westbrook made a great grab downfield. I don't really fault him. I mean, he contested. I'm fine with that. And he got beat on the slant in the end zone by Westbrook too. But Ridley did some work. He did. I loved the mental toughness for Terrion. We're going to show a good play in here. But here's a good example, I think. You run the speed out route, and look at the route discipline. You're going to see the route discipline here. Look at how he runs this route. Watch his head movement here at the top, okay? You can't see him yet. Now he's on the screen right here. Watch his head movement here at the top of the route versus Terrion Arnold. His eyes are still vertical as he's rolling his hips into the speed out route, and it settles Terrion for a second. You obviously want that eye balance between quarterback and cornerback to be able to drive on this, but it looks like Rudolph's doing a solid job looking number two, looking seam. And as a cornerback here who can be taught to read that front field shoulder, you see the shoulder of the quarterback that opens up. You can see he's holding it into the number two receiver before he opens himself up, before he then steps back outside to throw this pass. So Terrion doesn't get an early break on it. It's a very well ran route. He gets pretty flat out of the break too, really doesn't give up any ground. The timing's really strong as well, and he just creates space. It wasn't like it was horrendous from Terrion, but it's just about the little things in the NFL. And right there, transition wasn't awful. It wasn't entirely explosive, but it wasn't awful. It was actually pretty smooth. It was just he was a little bit late to the party because you have a receiver that is a great route runner. And speaking of, we'll go right back to it here at the top of the screen. Let me move myself down to the bottom left here. At the top of the screen, you're going to see it again, one-on-one with Terrion Arnold. Watch how he runs this slant route. It's a quick slant, sits down on the first down. Nothing after the catch because you get recovery here from Terrion, which is nice. But watch how he runs this right here. So you're going to get kind of the skip release. Watch him skip off the line. Also, I think it's worth pointing out that the midfield help that Terrion would normally have on this play with this pre-snap motion where the Lions switch it off inside the 15-yard line to Amik Robertson to become the safety as the middle field help, that kind of opens the window for the receiver Calvin Ridley here to kind of take all the help out of the play, because you notice how his split is outside the numbers. So the middle field help, which would typically be the safety, is kind of pulled over by the pre-snap motion by the Titans by moving Kirby out of the play. It's a smart little movement there that they use pre-snap to actually open up this passing window a little bit more for their receiver. There's the skip, right? And then you get this single step. So you're thinking, okay, single step outside, bam, break it back inside, right? That's what you're expecting, I would think, as a corner here. You're getting this quick route, you're getting a single step, he's going to plant, and then he's going to jump back inside. Your help. That doesn't happen. So Terrion, as he's expecting this single step jump back inside, and Calvin Ridley sells like single step and get back inside. Watch how he sells it right here. It's like, oh, okay, he is breaking inside. So now Terrion's playing that. But he doesn't actually fully go that way. He starts to push back up vertical. He takes another step back upfield, and now Terrion's immediately got to like, oh, I got to retreat. So now he has to get backwards. And now he's caught on his heels, and then he breaks it back into the slant, and he's got just enough separation. It was fine recovery, but again, it's the little things in the NFL. Seeing a veteran receiver, and as Herman Moore told us, I think it was Herman Moore, is like, hey, that's the best corner to go against is the rookie. Because of what pick you is, that's the best corner to go against if you're a veteran receiver is the rookie, because those guys just have not seen it yet. And speaking of having not seen it yet, Khalil Dorsey with the 70-plus yard return. This is one of the special teams plays just put in there. Look at the blocking. You can see the wall lines created. Like, it's the little things as a special teams coach. I mean, look at their offset alignment here, right? They got 5 guys on the left hash versus 4, so you outnumber them. And then here, so you're going a 5-4. You have 2 returners. Isaiah Williams is going to go upfield vertical, see if anybody shoots through, then he's going to pick up that block. Nobody does because they walled off perfectly. So then Isaiah Williams are going to see him hit the gas. He's going to lead the way, pick up the block that leads to the big run. But then watch the wall they create right here. They create a mess right here. They leave this outside defender kind of unblocked, which is what Isaiah Williams is going to pick up. So they're just creating a wall with these 4 right here. Bam, bam. They're going to create a wall. Then you're going to use the backside, who's kind of playing in between a little bit, to then basically pull around and be a lead blocker. So watch this. You see him pull around. There's the wall he creates. Wall here. There's the wall they create. They leave this guy unblocked to create this wall. And Isaiah Williams, now that it gets outside, has that lead block, and right There, he picks it, and now here goes Khalil Dorsey. It was great blocking, it really was. We always give credit to returners, as we should, but man, sometimes it's like, yo, the blocking is beautiful. When a guy doesn't get touched, the blocking is on point. Now, we didn't have to make a lot of big-time throws in this game. Just to be real, you just didn't have to, right? A lot of things were just play-action check down, but one of the big throws that we did make was right here to Sam Laporta, and it wasn't anything crazy, but it was National Tight Ends Day, so I got to put this in here. You get the motion pre-snap, you see it's man coverage, but you also see who's playing man. Now, they were playing switch man in these spots, so we did see, like, okay, if he crossed the field, they may switch it to a different player in coverage, and then he'll drop out in his zone. You get that a lot once you get inside of 10, goal line man. You get a lot of those. That being said, though, here at the 9-yard line, you get this motion. This was a 3rd down and 7, I believe. This was a 3rd down. And you get this motion, the short motion out, and then you bring back Laporta in. Now you see that the safety, Imani Hooker, he's in man coverage here. Okay, sweet. That's who has him. So now you bring him back in, you check it at the line, and you're going to run kind of this runoff route with Robinson, and it's going to run an out route right underneath it. It doesn't really create much of a pick. You just have an out route here that you create with Sam Laporta. The timing is excellent. You'll see the eyes for Goff. They make this simple. All right, watch Goff right here. Eyes go left. You see that he's in man coverage. You're not letting the help get there, so you run the out route. You get away from all this middle field help. Safety, linebackers, who has the running backs, the linebacker that's free. You get away from all that extra help. They're not blitzing on the play, so Goff looks left, holds it. Now you got a one-on-one, and when he comes back, you see Laporta kind of slow plays the route, then presses the gas, gets half man on the safety because he just outsizes him. So once he gets that contact against an off-balance cornerback, he's going to create leverage. He's going to create space. That's just a problem for a defensive back that's outweighed by 50-plus pounds. And right here, he hits that gas, boom, outside shoulder. Now he's in a tough spot, and then the footwork through the top of the route is agile. It's crisp. Laporta breaks it. Defender pretty much falls down, and Goff is throwing this thing absolutely on time. Excellent. This just shows you, like, they're on time here. He's throwing this ball before he even sees Laporta looking at him. So the timing is big time. He expects him to just get open. Right here, he's throwing this ball. Laporta breaks it. Timing's beautiful. Ball's on point. Back to the defensive side of the ball. Wanted to show some love for Muhammad because, again, talk about these guys that aren't here. Let's talk about the guys that are here that did show up. Here against the rookie J.C. Latham. Now, I think you could have some struggles against better tackles. I don't doubt that. But he did what he did in this game. And you could see, like, the short area footwork, the short area quickness from Muhammad was very noticeable. And you can see here with the vertical push, the offensive tackle never opens up, right? It's not like an explosive distance or depth that he's covering upfield, but he is pressing him upfield, but he's going with these short steps. Tackle never opens up. He transitions right here into this bull rush, and you kind of see the hips, right? You see just the strength that he's able to roll into this in transition right there through the hips, walks his tackle onto the ground. So there's the vertical push. Doesn't really open up until right there, and then it's just a smooth transition here through the hips, creates a lot of force, and there's a bull rush win. Staying with that, how about another win? Now, you don't see, I think, maybe some of the flexibility to completely finish. I think he's also maybe a little bit more vertical, clean the edge, and completely get the win. But here, he creates a spin win. So you just beat J.C. Latham. Now back here working on Latham again. There's a vertical push. He's setting a little bit towards the outside here. So again, short area footwork is you press him, and look at how close he's pressing to the tackle before he makes his move, right? Like a lot of times, you'll give too much space, and that could be a problem. They'll give too much room before they make their move. He's pressing right up on this left tackle. You see the footwork, the 1-2 outside. You're thinking, okay, he's going outside, and then he stabs it. It's a clean footwork spin move. He just doesn't have some of the dip to completely close the edge, but he does create some penetration there, obviously, as well as Levi, who also was the other guy getting after it. Aleem got after a little bit. Reader, a couple times I noted. It was Levi and it was Muhammad who were doing work, as well as Lee McNeil, who usually is that, so I'm not even really pointing that out. And the DJ Reader had a few flash reps in there, too, that I noted. But Muhammad 6 pressures, like, we got to point that out. Now, Terrion, we just showed him, veteran receiver. He did some work. But here, got to give him some credit, because here in a cover 3 look, Lions disguise it, roll their safety at the snap. They're bringing a 5th rusher on this play. Watch Terrion Arnold here, because what I love is this is a 3rd and long. And at the bottom of the screen, the pacing is what stands out on the play like this. The pacing that Terrion Arnold plays with, to not be too aggressive, to take away the vertical route, instead knowing the sticks, knowing the situation. You can see he's gaining depth, but he's not turning and running. He's staying himself leveraged to the point where he can plant and get back to the ball. And even though there's a nice little vertical push there, he's not overplaying it. There's still good pacing. Watch the hips swivel here as he transitions. Again, I love his transition ability. The upside is incredible, especially as his timing gets better, the anticipation for routes, and he starts playing things like this, like we saw a little bit last week against Minnesota, where it's like, oh, the sticks. Let me play the sticks, not the 40-yard pass. Right? When you start playing smart to that plus, not only playing the sticks, you're playing the blitz. Hey, they're bringing 5 guys. The ball should be out quicker, right? We have one less underneath defender. So the ball gets out a little quicker. We play with better pacing here. You see the swivel in the hips, the ability to plant and drive back to the football without beating the drum here, where he's a little off balance. And then the timing at the catch point's beautiful. Ball's probably out a little bit late. But right here, he's throwing outside shoulder. Look at the timing. Doesn't get there early. Boom. He gets there as soon as the ball gets there, brags his ball out. So mental toughness. Did not have I want to say he had a great game by any means. But the mental toughness is always big for Terrion Arnold. And that was a good play to showcase that. Frank had a big game. You can see right here he's going to reset again. again on the nose tackle. Look at that. How about Graham getting up to the second level? What I liked by Graham here is he's playing hip to hip, man. You're going to this like outside zone look. Again, the hinge here by Decker, and look at him play hip to hip with Frank Ragnow before settling up to the second level, just because Frank is not giving up any push. On the backside, you have Penei Sewell, who's going to this reach block. Look at Penei Sewell reach, the opposite defensive tackle. So now you don't get that penetration. Zeitler gets up to the second level with really good location, and you're playing hip to hip with Glasgow. This opens up. He turns his hips. Now you got this lane for Gibbs to shoot through. And again, Tim Patrick is now standing down here blocking two guys. Everybody's blocking. Alex, I love this scrape, but also want to give credit to Aleem here. Watch him handle the double team between right tackle and right guard. Watch him settle himself down. There's contact. Boom. Settle himself down right here. Disengages the right guard. Holds this ground. Basically taking out two guys of the play, but also cleaning his gap. He's not getting washed down. Then Alex can press that gap. He doesn't really have a threat because no offensive lineman can clearly get their hands on him. No offensive lineman is getting to the second level. So he can press upfield into that A gap and then scrape off it, slide over, and he's sitting there for the tackle. Now we got to make a cleaner tackle here because he did pick up a few yards, and sometimes Pollard just did that in this game. And on the backside here, Muhammad didn't get completely over the block, but he did get to the football. Picked up too many yards there, but I did just like seeing Aleem. This, I didn't show all 4 plays. I'm only showing one. But this was what the Lions have been since week 1. I mean, honestly, they've been this for a while now. This is why they're so good in the red zone. They're amazing in the red zone offensively, right? We're seeing because they can run the ball like they can. Then obviously the play action is just so lethal because of that, because everybody sells out for the run. And then you have all this trickery and movement. We'll show one of those plays. But then defensively, it's communication. It's always communication, right? And plus, now we have man coverage players, so it's very natural that when you're at the 3-yard line, you're usually playing man anyway. So it's communication, it's man coverage pieces, and it's Aaron Glenn. You don't know who's blitzing and who's dropping in his zone.
And that last point of not knowing who's matched up with who's dropping into coverage, who's blitzing on the play, that's versatility. You have great blitzers at the safety position, even especially when Iffy comes back. But this goes back to last year when the Lions did what they did to the Rams in the playoffs. They have versatility. Branch can match up one-on-one. Kirby has developed so much as a man coverage piece. Your cornerbacks are very comfortable blitzing. Your linebackers are great in coverage. Alex has been elite in coverage. Jalen Reese-Maven has been big in the red zone because of his movement skills. You have so much versatility in the back end that when the field gets condensed and there's not many windows and you have now playmakers at the catch point, the safety position that continuously just takes balls away like they did again, Kirby in this game, and now corners that make plays at the catch point. The versatility the Lions have, those 3 points the Lions have knocked out of the park, they are so tough in the red zone to pass against.
He has these little wrinkles. We saw the pick against Dak. So here, look at the communication. We showed the safeties at the beginning because it was kind of like a preview to what's about to happen. Between Carlton Davis and Kirby Joseph, watch them pass this off first off, right? So you get these crossing routes. This is 4th and goal. Again, I don't know why they didn't run it. You should simplify it against their pass coverage. But anyways, they tried a couple pick plays. Branch broke him up, and it's like, it's just not there. Try to fade. Tyrion was on it. Incomplete. Here, they're going to run these crossing routes, right? Cross the middle of the field, and Kirby Joseph is going to pass it off and tell Carlton, hey, drop out. Now you're the free defender. So now you have to step out right here, Carlton, and help deal with these crossers coming back your way right there. So he deals with it. There's like the little mesh, so he drops out back the end zone. Now Kirby can pick it up back at the end zone, and then all of a sudden, those guys are covered up. There's nowhere to throw the football. Now he's got to hold on to it, takes a hit, and he just throws it. It was actually caught, but he stepped out of bounds. And then again, pressure-wise, you get some pressure here. A couple guys. You get DJ Reader, who gets a little bit of an edge and gets upfield. Aleem's coming in through a little late. And then Muhammad, he deals with a chip from a tight end, and then watch some of this dip. You see the rip, and he's able to turn the corner a little bit to get a somewhat of a quarterback hit there. Levi also working through the contact. You see the hands. You see the core strength, right? Just keep working. That's what we talk contact balance right there. Look at how the Lions are playing this, man. You could just see it in their front, and we saw this last week what the intention was. Now, obviously, some of this is offense because the personnel they're putting out there when they go jumbo and they go multiple tight ends. But here the Lions are showing gaps. They're going on-ball press on the tight end here with Jack Campbell. So on-ball press, you're going to play right into your gap. You're going to deal with this guy if he gets off the line. We saw Alex get a sack on this because he went all-ball press, tight ends bulls block the outside linebacker, he steps down and just rushes the quarterback, and he gets an immediate sack on a play fake. They also do a lot of play action, so the blitzing out of that made a lot of sense. So Lions are stacking the line. They got 6 guys on the line with Trevor. They got 1 off-ball backer. We've seen some of these 6-1 looks recently here. You got outside zone to the weak side. Again, Muhammad, look at the edge set. Look at the edge. That's J.C. Latham, all right? That's a legit dude. That's a strong edge set, man. He kind of drops him on the play. He loses his balance. I just love the footwork. I love the way that look at the body. Look, he's quick off the line. Look at the strong body positioning. He doesn't match up physically, but his great positioning sets a strong edge. Lee McNeil on the play side. Here he is, 3 tech again. He's explosive off the ball, settles himself down. And then on the backside, you have Levi, I believe, working the 4-eye here, who's just working across laterally and kind of collapses this together. And you got this massive punt return where, to me, it's just about the everybody involved. You got Alex out here blocking, which I think Khalif pointed out after the game. You got Jalen out here blocking. You have everybody blocking on this play. Watch Alex, right? Watch Alex just down the field. field. He just finds his guy. He just keeps working. He just keeps working the whole way. Just finds somebody. He's just going to stay in front of his guy here. And then you get obviously a couple blocks that are sealed off here. And the one guy that ends up who Khalif has to really make miss is right here. Terrion falls as the jammer, so the gunner's free. And that's the one guy. I mean, he made the first one miss too, but, you know, the first one could be a lot easier. The second one, though, Terrion fell. He's not even in the play to pick up a block. So the one free guy is really the gunner, and that's who he cuts off of, and then everybody's blocking because everybody's engaged. Alex sits with his guy. They create a wall again right here. Everybody's just engaged to find a block, and all of a sudden it shoots forward, and this was your punt return touchdown from Khalif Raymond, to the point where Ali McNeil's working on the punter. Like, Ali McNeil's still working with the punter here. That's where you got to. He's like, I'm going to go find the punter. They were just super engaged as a special teams unit. Talk about the pressure. Obviously, Lions are blitzing, but I just like the Brian Branch blitz. He kind of missed these, so I want to showcase it. He was in the slot. He did it all the time. See it a little bit less now, but I love showing him because Brian Branch is just such a good blitzer that we forgot how good he is. He would attack pass lanes. He'd get his hands in the way, and then he's dynamic. He was so good at Bama at this. Look at the spin move. He looked like an edge rusher if you didn't know the difference, right? I mean, here he comes with the spin on the right tackle. Bam, there's a spin move. Now he's in his face. Like, he put a pass or two. He's not just running and like, hopefully I don't get blocked. Puts a little spin move together on his guy there. And the ball's out so fast that even though he had him open, I like Jack Campbell's depth, stepping over to the middle field route here. And then Carlton Davis, his recovery is incredible, right? You get his nice comeback route, bam, you're like, oh, he's going to fall. Look at the stumble and recovery. But could have been caught. Just had to speed it up a little bit because the Lions brought the blitz, and it's a great blitz by Branch to just get in his face right here. He's in his face. He doesn't make that spin move. This ball might get completed because he's willing to stand in, but he gets in his face. The other play that I love defensively, I know we pointed this out when it was live, but I just loved it. It's third down, and I believe this is 3rd and 10. And defensively, you're going cover one blitz, but the lines are rotating. Who's in man coverage? Is it the safety? Is it the backer? Like, who's playing man? That was the one little wrinkle we saw. So here at the snap, you got Kirby down by the box. At the snap, he drops out into the free safety, middle field safety. And Branch is actually the guy that's going to get manned up, who's going to roll over at the snap. You'll see at the snap, he kind of rolls over top of this another 3 receiver. He's going to start to work over top of it. What I love about this, though, is that you're essentially giving them a route that you know can't beat you. You trust Branch in open field make tackle, even though he missed one on the screen, but you trust him there. So you're like, hey, we're going to give you this little hitch. We're going to play the sticks. We got the middle field safety. He's manned up. We're going to press everybody else, and then we're going to blitz you. But we're going to make it just seem like, oh, Tyler Boyd, that's easy. Just get the ball out of your hands quick. That's the guy. Because there's no immediate pressure. You could stand in there longer if you wanted to. Everything else was covered up pretty well. But they just basically said, here's Tyler Boyd. We're giving him to you. They just gave him the route. They basically baited him into throwing that. So because they knew, like, this isn't going to be enough. Branch is going to make the tackle, and they just trusted him to do it. Instead of just lining him up to go play straight man, they're like, give him the route, sit on top of it, play the sticks. They get the ball out fast. They feel the blitz. Hey, I feel the blitz. Let me get the ball in my hands. Quick hitch here. And the Lions are just basically saying, cool, you basically just did exactly what we wanted you to do. We gave you that. More plays here. We got the great touchdown to Khalif, and then just a little note from Goff, which has been big, I think, the last few weeks in play action, has been the ability to get the ball out of his hands and find checkdowns, right? You pull the offensive lineman, you get a blown block here from Sewell, and watch Goff's eyes. It was simplified. We had a lot of these that weren't really opened up. They did a good job in the back end of coverage. They covered things up well. Their linebackers played well in coverage. This was covered up well. None of the vertical routes we tried to push Khalif or middle field with St. Brown wasn't there. Very beginning of the game, same thing, wasn't there. So Goff, as he doesn't find that, you see his eyes downfield with the pressure, slide and find. That's what I'm going to call it. Slide and find. It's accurate. It's an accurate check down. It's not special, but it keeps you on top of the chains, which we know we need. And the last play I'll show is the exact same play that the Lions ran. It's almost the exact same play. Lions ran against Denver year 1. We showed it while we were live if you're watching us. Against Denver, first year under Dan Campbell. We lost that game 10-38, but the one touchdown that we did have, because this play, it was to Khalif Raymond, basically the exact same thing. You get this, what looks like an orbit, right? An orbit motion, but he's going to run a return motion. So he's going to press behind. And you're like, oh, he's going. Nope. He's going to plant. And he's going to run right back. And because, again, what did we say they were playing? This switch man coverage in these goal line spots. And they did it the play before. So what do Lions do? Like, let's take advantage of that. Let's bring in this let's bring in this motion pre-snap here with Khalif. So now they pass it off. You see how Brownlee is chasing nobody? Brownlee was initially lined up on St. Brown, right? And then your outside corner here had Khalif. But then you motion him inside. So they're switching this man coverage assignment to who's closer to the football. So now Brownlee picks it up. Well, that kind of creates makes more room for him. But Brownlee is now like, I got to get over top. Khalif's too fast. Let me race over there. You run the play fake for the backers and the safety. You just run this crossing route to pull the safety and the cornerback out of the play. So there's the run fake, safety and corner. Brownlee's trying to get over top, so he's racing over there. He doesn't even see Khalif Raymond. He's like, where did the dude go? And then he just settles back over and he just walks into the end zone. Lions have ran that same exact play before. It's not new, but it was brought back out and it executed to perfection, basically the same exact way it did against Denver just a few years ago. The difference is now we're better on a lot of the other downs than just having a couple of these nice wrinkles. We're just a much more consistent team that's not only scoring 10 and losing by 28, but having a nice wrinkle. We're just blowing teams out. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Keep an eye on Muhammad. This guy had a really strong game, and I think he deserves attention. The offense line continues to be great. I love watching those guys, and we're going to leave it there. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.